Welcome back. In this video, we are going to discuss about the init container. What exactly the init containers are? In simple terms, container that run before the app container in a pod. Confused? Let me explain this thing with an example. Let's suppose I have a MySQL container which I need to run. Now, before running the MySQL container, I need to run a couple of scripts. These scripts I can mention it in the init container. Init container mainly contain the startup scripts, configuration, utilities, these kind of things only. So rather than mentioning each and everything in the main container, in the MySQL container, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mention these things in the init container. Init container are just like the regular container. Only the difference is they run to completion. What exactly means is, let's suppose there is a MySQL and I have mentioned the startup script in the init container. So till the time init container is not going to be up and running, it is not going to start the MySQL server. Let's suppose if there is any error, it's always going to be restart again and again. And remember one more thing. Let's suppose if init container fail, what exactly the kubectl is going to do is kubectl repeatedly restart the init container until it is going to succeed. But yes, if a pod has a restart policy of never, and if the init container fail, it treats the whole deployment fail. How exactly the init container are different from the main container? There is a slight difference. Like in the main container, it supports features like readiness probes, startup probe, life cycle. Main container support all those things. But when it comes to the init container, it does not support these kind of probing. But yes, it supports like resource limit, support like volume, it support like the security features. Let's go and see the demo so that we can understand this thing in a better way. I'm in my terminal. So here I have created two files. One is with the name init.yaml and the other one is the service.yaml. Let me open this file init.yaml and let me explain this file here. So if you see this file with the app version, API version v1, kind is pod, this metadata is related to the pod. So name, label, all those things are related to the pod only. So the name of the pod is example pod. So once we are going to deploy this thing, the name of the pod which comes is this example pod. This has a label as well, my service. And why exactly we are using this label? Because we need to deploy the service as well. And once we are going to deploy the service, we need to tell service to use this pod. And how exactly we are going to relate those things with the help of the labels. So here we have the label and this is app my service. So whatever the information you want to give, you can give here. You can change the name, you can change the label. So it's totally up to you. Then we have the specification. Now this specification is related to the pod only. And if you see, this is with the mtdir. So when pod is going to be created, then it is going to have the empty directory. Then we have the init container. Init container always the part of the specification. And here in the init container, again, we have the name, just like the metadata we have for the pod. We have the name of the init container. Image, busybox is the image which we are using. And the command. So whatever the command which we need to type. So here if you see, we are running the Linux command. And how exactly we are running like this. We can give it in a list format as well. So that is totally up to you how you want to give. In a single line as well, I mean to say. So here if you see echo, welcome to the Kubernetes demo on AWS. And after that, it is redirecting this content where? To this USR shared Nginx HTML index.html. So this is the default location for the Nginx. And this content is going to update here. If you see here, we have the redirect option. And then we are running one more command. So in the Linux, if you are not aware, but if you need to run two commands together, let's suppose if you want to pwd and ns, these two commands together, these are not going to run. And if you want to run, how you can run it? pwd, then this ls. See, both the commands are going to work. So again, the same thing. In a single line, I'm using two commands. So first, it is going to update the index.html with this content. And after that, it is going to change the permission of this one. So this is the startup script I have. So you can have any startup script, whatever you like. Then we have the volume mount, and this volume mount is related to the init container. Okay. And here we have the name of the volume mount. So whatever the name we want to give, like init share data or share data, whatever that is. And this is the mount point. Where exactly it is going to mount? It is going to mount it here. After that, we have the container information. In the container, we have my service. Image is Nginx. This is coming from the Docker Hub. Then we have the volume mount. Now this volume mount is for the container. This is the name. So don't get confused where we have the same name for this and this. This volume mount is related to init container. This volume mount is related to container. Which container? This Nginx container. And the mount path is this. Let me go to the other one as well. That is cat service.yaml. Now here we have the API version v1. Kind is service, metadata. This is the name of the service, example service. Then we have the specification like the target port type. Here we can have the load balancer, cluster IP, load port, whatever we are comfortable with. And then we have the selector. So this is the one I was talking about, app my service. And if you see in the init, here we have the label app my service. So this is very important. If we are not going to give the selector, what will happen? Service is going to be created. But this service is not going to attach to this container. Okay, and here is the target port and the port. Great. Now let me deploy these two files. So how we can deploy kubectl, get kubectl apply -a init, and then kubectl apply -a service.yaml. Now both the files are created. Let me go and check kubectl get pod. Here we have the example pod, and if you remember, cat init c example pod, the same thing. Let me go to the service, kubectl get svc or service. Here we have the example service. This is for the type node port. See, and let me go and check cat service.yaml. If you see in the service, name is example service. So this is the name example service and the type is node port. And this is running on port number 80 and this port. Great. If we want to see more information like kubectl get pod, if we want to see, then we can go with -o wide option as well. So this is where I will get the external IP if it is connected. This is useful, very useful if you are using AWS or if you are using GCP as well. You need the external IP. This is the command by which we will get the external IP. And there is one more command, kubectl describe pods. Then we need to provide the pod name. And in my case, this is the pod name. And here we have the events which we can check. We have other informations as well, like volume. Then we have the conditions, container information, and this is the command if you see for the init container. Status is running. Great. Now let me also check whether this one is working or not. So this Kubernetes is deployed on my local system, so I can yes, this is working absolutely fine. Welcome to Kubernetes demo on AWS. And if you remember, cat. So this is working as expected. So these are the init container.